Let's get this show on the road. Guys, thanks for coming to this session. We're going to be talking about Edge functionality, new security in Edge, and how to make it more compatible in your workspace when you're using Internet Explorer and Edge together to give you the best experience. So we've got a three-way horse. It'll be interesting to see who you're betting on by the end of this, but myself, Andrew Bettany from the UK. We've got Ed Baker from the UK, and Adnan Hendricks from Holland. The Netherlands, it's the new word now. So we're going to take this in turns. We're trying to give you as much value and content throughout this 75 minutes. There should be time, plenty of time for questions at the end, so feel free to come up at the end and we'll be hanging around for you. The session is recorded. The decks will be available for you afterwards. All right. So without further ado, Adnan, you want to take over?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adnan Hendricks. Andy forgot to mention some of the notes, like some of the links. We'll try and upload those as well. Maybe some of the demo stuff?
Demo's available online.
There we go. Hands-on labs. My part is to show you guys what's new in Edge, the new, faster, fluid, more productive browser. And the nice, or the funny thing is, it was completely newly developed, and it's in its just over 2 years of age, you could say. And there's already 330 million active devices using the Edge browser. So that's quite a good number. This is as of last week, when the Edge team lead had the Web Summit in Seattle. So massive number. But why use the product? And that's what I'm hopefully going to show you guys. Ed and Andy will show you guys how to migrate your old legacy stuff towards Edge. So Edge is safer, it's faster, it's more productive, and they'll show you how you can fall back on your legacy stuff using the different tools. During my session, I'll also show you guys some of the new improvements in security, management, and even though this isn't a dev session, there's a lot of the APIs that's currently supported in Edge. I'll show you guys where you can go and find those information on the website in Microsoft and some of the dev guides to show you in detail what's new in the different formats. So in the use of the browser, you have the new features, new security built in, helping you stay organized. And I'll show you guys some of the user interface stuff during the conferences, also other sessions. So have a look at those, where they go through the end user interface to just show all the end user improvements that have been gained in the new builds and also in the last version of Edge. Now, Edge has different components. There's the rendering engine, which is Edge HTML, and then you have the frame, which is actually the actual application that you're using. And there's been major improvements in both of these things to make it safer. And one of the reasons that it is safer is that it doesn't support the legacy things like ActiveX controls, VBScript. And Edge is one of those things that helped kill Flash. Anybody still using Flash? Mm-hmm. Somebody is. I've got another question. Who's already using it as their full-time primary browser in the enterprise? A few. Okay. Some of you. Good numbers could be better. One of the better features is the integrated support for biometrics. Microsoft Passport, Windows Hello, where you can incorporate that in your Edge or browser applications to enable your end users to also use the Passport and Windows Hello. I'm just going to kick straight off into the current rendering engine's features and functionality that's been improved with the previous build. For those of you that want to have a look at the full list of Edge HTML15, what's new, you can go to that link, aka ms/devguide_edgeguide HTML15, and for the latest would be 16. So just some of the improvements that's been made, the extra tab management, the book functionality, the reader view. Who knows or has tried the reader view or read lists? Not that many of you. I like it. It's a nice feature. It allows me to ignore all the graphics and pictures that make it so busy, because I like sometimes to just read the text. So if I want to just read the text on a website with different graphical interferences, I could just click on read list, and in the reader view, just view the text. Makes it a lot faster, and you can save that in your library. So there's just one of the efficiency improvements. Speed's been increased, so input responsiveness, and that's been tested from the previous versions with an improvement of 30%. And input such as keyboard response, click response, etc. And more resilient against threats, because that's one of the reasons why this browser sort of exists. I don't have to remind you guys about all the security threats. You read about it daily in the news, on the websites, and everything that gets hacked in companies. And what's the most common entry of an attack in a company? People click on a link, or they go to a website, they think it's something else, but in fact it's one of those threats. And when they click on the link, it just injects malicious code into the machine. And before you know it, your machine's owned. And then from that one person, it will spread and spread. So code integrity guard, arbitrary code guard, I'll go into more detail later on about these free features. On the dev side, some of the dev improvements, new APIs. In a minute, I'll show you guys some of the new APIs that's been available, and also when these APIs been input in the different versions. Things like CSS custom properties and also web VR. I'm sure you guys seen some of the new cool virtual reality headsets and controls in the keynote. So that's been improved and made available with the web VR API, and then different compressions and even more. And there's a whole long list I'll show you guys. For Edge, in the new update that's coming in the fall, you could get it already if you're sitting on the Windows Insiders with the preview builds. So I suggest that you try and use that and try and get up to speed in the new features and functionality of the newer rendering engine. Who's already part of the Windows Insiders? Okay, quite a few. So being a Windows Insider, you get the Insider preview builds. They generally get released a couple of times every 2 to 3 weeks. Gives you the latest preview of Windows, and in that you get the latest version of Edge. And with the fall update, the latest rendering engine has been improved. It's a new version, HTML16, with the link. Actually missing a slide. So that's where I'll show you guys on the link. Some of the safety improvements or some of the security improvements that's been made to prevent attacks from disk. They've increased the control integrity guard. It's really a check from the different images. It checks to make sure that images on your web page is signed and loaded from valid locations. Because you don't know what kind of image has been injected on even a valid web page that might have been hacked. For example, a news website. Arbitrary code guide prevents dynamic code generation. So normally, code will be executed. This checks to make sure that the code hasn't been modified and is not generated on the fly. So if it tries to change during the source code tries to change during the execution of a web page, it will be stopped or protected. So that's just the first two, and those existed in Edge HTML 15. These are the new options. So for the fourth protection, the second part is to prevent attacks from memory. So where code will inject into memory. So some of the control flow integrity, the checks for the different function calls of the different APIs, websites will be controlled and checked. And the fourth guard is to check the return of those calls. So in effect, an extra check. Just to show you guys some of the new hardware available with the full update around October the 17th. That was announced last week. I thought I'd just add it in so you guys can have a look and see the different support for handheld and motion controllers with the new Edge. Which number? 7 or 8.
You want to go onto the browser, or do you want to swap?
Swapped.
Okay. Swap to your machine, which is 7.
Yep, I just wanted to change over to my machine to show you guys some of the options. If you go to the Microsoft Edge, the developer Microsoft.com, Microsoft Edge platform status, you get a nice website where you can have all the features and APIs that's been developed for Edge. And you can see the entire list of things that are supported, the things that are in preview, and things that are still under consideration. One of the major improvements in Windows 10 is the feedback hub. So if you're working in Edge, you got any information or things you want to share or questions that you want to change or ask Microsoft, just put it in the feedback hub. For example, a lot of the improvements that were made in the next full update or next version of Edge is based on what's been going through in the feedback hub and also what they view in social media. So Microsoft has been listening to everybody, looking at the challenges, and making sure that things that you couldn't do in the past, like even simple things like copying a link in the address bar. You couldn't do that. Drag and drop feature from favorites to the address bar. It doesn't exist. But in the newer version, it has been made possible. And it's all based on the feedback that they've been getting and the challenges that people have had. For those of you that haven't as yet tested the new browser, you can either download from the same site where you have tools and then go to virtual machines. You can download virtual machines with the latest browser and play around with that, do some of your testing of your internal company websites, etc., and just have a look how they are working. There's another company, browserstack.com, where you can get free trials, sign up, and test the different browsers. So in a browser, it will just spin up a virtual environment where you can go and play around with Edge. So browserstack.com. Just going back to the session. I've showed you some of the new features where you can go and have a look, like browserstack.com, developer.microsoft.com, where you can go and download virtual machines and also find extra tooling for Edge, and also to see all the different APIs that have been made available in the supported phase, and also those that are being planned in production, in development, and use the feedback hub. So with that saying, that's my piece. I'm going to hand it over to Andy.
Okay. Thanks very much. Thanks, Adam.
No problem.
Okay. You've done your demo, Adam?
Yep.
Did you want to explain that slide?
Well, that's what I've shown in the
okay, you've
updates.
seen that. Brilliant. Let's move on.
Skipped to that.
Thank you. Okay, so let's change gears a little bit and move into the compatibility, because we've heard some really cool features that Adam's brought out to you. And to be fair, when Edge was first released, it didn't really land that well. And you know, to some extent, we're saying to you, use Edge because it's more secure, it's more reliable, it's the way of the future. But at the same time, there's a huge amount of legacy web apps, websites, intranets, whatever it is out there, millions and millions, that don't work in Edge. You agree? So therefore, it landed, and it was a bit of a, it didn't land as well as we wanted. So behind the scenes, obviously that was a big concern. We can't give you compatibility with really, really old websites that have not been updated for 10 years that are inherently, potentially dangerous to you. So we've come up with a way where we can say, look, for all your browsing that we think will be compatible in Edge, use it. Use Edge all the time. Okay, in your enterprise, that is the safest way to browse. And then, for the websites that either you tell the system are not going to be compatible, for those websites, fall back to IE 11. That make sense? So what we're going to show you in the next part of this session is how you can implement that. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit, talk about the components. Ed's then, I'm going to hand over then to Ed. Ed's going to show you how to, he's going to demonstrate how that gets put in practice. Okay, and then I'll wrap up with I'll show you the even bigger enterprise tools, you know, where we can do this at scale. All right? So that's where we're going to be for the next half hour. So it's an odd thing to say there's two browsers. Okay, so Windows 10 ships with two browsers. You know that now. That's going to stay. There is not going to be another version of Internet Explorer. Okay? There is not going to be another browser full stop. Microsoft is saying IE 11 and Edge are your two browsers. And just like we're starting to love and appreciate and get used to the idea of a rolling update system, yep, we're going to be updating Edge. Now, what's going to happen to IE 11? Not a lot. It's in maintenance mode. So it'll still be patched, it'll still be as reliable as ever, but it'll be patched for security issues. It's not going to have any more functionality. And if you think about it, it doesn't need any more functionality, does it? Because it's only there for one reason: backward compatibility, which it does really well. Okay? Edge does not do backward compatibility really well. It does it okay, but it's not built for backward compatibility. Is that okay, guys? But it's built for safety, just like Adam showed us. It's built for the future. But we also appreciate there's no way that we're going to take the billions of web pages out there and expect you guys to upgrade them all. It's just not going to happen. All right. So think about Edge is going to be a rolling platform. I said this. It's going to be updated on a regular basis with Windows 10. And Adam called out the Creators Fall update. You're going to get new functionality all the time. Your job is to take our communications, our marketing, and this is the new features, and pass that on to your staff so they can go, wow, that's great. Because that way, they'll start to use Edge more and more and more. They'll start living it. Whereas if you don't communicate that to them, they might still have that first use experience from a year ago or 2 years ago and go, eh. And we don't want you to have that. We want you to have an Edge feel-good factor because it is getting better every single update. Does that make sense? So, I'm going to call out 4 stages today. I'm really going to look at the main 2 in the middle, but I'll touch on the edges as well. We look at the consideration of how you go about upgrading from, let's say, Windows 7 with IE8, to Windows 10 with Edge and IE11. We'll look at what you need to think about. We'll then look at planning and evaluating that stage. And that's probably the most complex one because you need to understand how many websites you have that are going to not be compatible with Edge. Because once you know how big the problem is, if you find you've only got 3 websites, maybe an intranet and then a partner site, and one that you didn't really know about, but now you do, you could probably fix those yourself. And that's not a big deal. Whereas if you find you've got 10,000 websites that just aren't going to be compatible, that's when we need to kick in and start using this enterprise mode, which is the main feature that we're going to show you today. And it works sweet. All right? And it's been around for a while. This is not new. We've updated it and upgraded it and made it even better, but it's not new. We brought it out 18 months ago. And then we're going to look at the testing and remediation where you can, once you've implemented Edge, we can then, does it work with your websites? How can we test a website to see what functionality it will give us in Edge? Or what user agent it needs to run effectively? And we'll show you how to do that. And then at the end, we'll then look at how you deploy this at scale so that you can actually look at 100,000 web pages. You can deploy this to your users across the whole enterprise and capture at scale every web page that they're running into a funnel and then go, wow, we didn't know we did all those. They will all be compatible or they won't be. So that's where we're looking at today. So let's look at the consideration first. So you should have got an understanding of this slide at the moment. This is our current browsers that we support right now. We left behind the last legacy operating system and browser back in, was it April 2017, April this year, April 11th, we lost Vista, we lost IE8. So that's gone. So we're really looking at Edge and IE11. Now the other sweet spot on this slide used to be Windows 7 and IE8. That was a really compatible browser. So a lot of you may be using Windows 7 and IE8 right now. So to move to Edge and IE11, we need to make sure that we use IE11 in IE8 compatibility mode, in effect, which is, it works nice. Okay? So this is a very quick summary of what we're expecting you to see when you start employing web app compatibility in Windows 10. You'll load up a page in IE11. Sorry, you'll load up you'll click a link, you'll click a hyperlink, a URL. It will automatically try to load that in Edge. If it doesn't like it for some reason, or it's on the compatibility list, okay, it will then open in IE11, automatically, seamlessly. If you've seen this functionality a year ago, it was a little bit clunky, okay, because what you had was 2 web browsers open at the same time trying to render the same page, and it was like, oh dear. And that confused your users. We're sorry. Now it's a little bit more seamless. We close Edge and we open IE, and it's like, ah, happy days. So please try this again. Yeah, don't live in the past thinking it was clunky. But hey. And then, once you then open a new page, this system evaluates again and says, is this good for Edge? If it is, load by default in Edge. And that is nice. That's how it should be. If you think about it, it's pretty clever. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you've seen the history of the web. 20 years of web pages out there. IE has been around for 20 years. And each iteration, we heard Adnan talk about, what was the the latest HTML that we're talking about today. 16 coming out in the fall. That's you know, I remember back in my college days, HTML3, HTML4, HTML5. You know, that's old. But there's a lot of pages built on HTML6 and HTML5. So what we had to do with Internet Explorer was build compatibility at every stage, didn't we? So we had these document modes, and that's what's listed on the screen. So we then had the preferred document modes, the ones that were most compatibility. We used to have compatibility viewer. We don't have that anymore. This is all done automatically and seamlessly within IE 11. 11 is like the final version of the advanced compatibility viewer. It does it automatically now. We don't need to invoke a compatibility view. So again, there's going to be a slight education potentially for your users if they're used to using compatibility view, where they had to click a little button. They don't need to do that anymore. All right. We've now got this enterprise mode sat behind the scenes, inspecting pages for you. Right, let's move on. Planning and evaluation. And look at some evaluation tools. Now, this is almost developer talk. This is where you go into the F12 menu. And I'm going to demo this shortly. Ed's going to look at this with us. This is where we can see what the components of a web page are. All right, so without getting too technical, a web page is full of components. It's full of tables and you know, the HTML behind the scenes. And we can see what document mode each part of that page really would like to load in. All right, so that's a nice way of saying that page likes document mode 5 or you know, document mode 8. We can see it straight away. It's very easy to do. You can do it, but it doesn't scale. So then we need to move on to the second level, which is an enterprise site discovery. So this is where we're looking across, you know, a small site, say, you know, maybe up to 100 or 1,000 websites, and we're collecting information. Okay, there's a little bit of configuration required, but this is the start of getting good, where we're getting lots of information pulled into one place. We can then decipher that and pump it into this enterprise mode, in effect. The final stage, and we're going to touch on this at the end after Ed's demo, is where you might have OMS, okay? And we can then run a tool that will link into SQL and pull all the data from your investigation, in effect, where you let this run on your network and you capture all the browser activity from your users for, say, a week, and then you collect all that information. And then you feed that back in to the system. All right? So it's like, think of it as, you know, small, medium, and large scale. So we've got a tool that will work for whatever level you need. All right. I mentioned the F12 developer tools quickly. This is the page that Ed's going to drill down into, sorry. But in effect, what we're looking at is on the right-hand side, the emulation. This is where you can, in effect, render that web page in a different browser without changing the browser. Yeah? And to see what it looks like. Because ultimately, it's all about, does it render properly? And if it does, we're happy. If we need to change it to become a IE 8 or a Windows 7 PC, again, we can then hard code that into the tool to say whenever your users run that web page, render it in this document mode. Whereas before, in compatibility view, we tried to do that on the fly, and it sometimes worked and it sometimes didn't work. Yeah. So we're now making that more resilient for you. The middle stage is enterprise site discovery. So this is where we let your users browse the web, we then collect all that information from all the different users, and we export that data into an XML and then feed that into this enterprise site mode tool. It's a very small database that then is a lookup table based on XML that your browser will look and go, yes, that website is on that list. This is the rendering that I need to use. Happy days. Okay? And it works nice. This is the sort of information that we can get from that initial site discovery of data. So you can see there's a couple of gaps in there in the document mode reason and the browser state, but generally it works across all historic browsers. The big step is this this component that we can add into the Operations Management Suite, or OMS. And this is using your analytics. So there's no extra licensing for this. This is like, if you've got Windows 10, you have this, okay? Because it's a component of Windows 10 that feeds into OMS. All right, so if you're looking at, if you've got an enterprise license, then this is really cool. This was in preview. I think it came out in April this year, so it's still brand new. Yeah, they've been working on this for a good 6 months. Ed and I were talking about this in February, thinking, wow, when's this going to come out? And it came out only a few months ago. So if you've not seen this, this is really nice. Okay, let me just fast forward now into the testing and remediation and touch again on the different types of document modes and how you can test a website to see if it's compatible. All right, I showed you the screenshot of the F12 developer tool, which has been around for many years. All right? Your developers will certainly know all the components of what this screen is showing you, but at a simple level, you've got a document mode, which means, what will it work in? So we can scroll down from IE11 to all the way down to 5. And 5 is 15 years old. It's a long time ago. So it really renders in some really basic HTML. But if that's what the web page needs, it works. All right? Then you can move across to, well, what type of device are we looking at? Is it a desktop browser, or is it a phone, or is it an enterprise device such as a Surface Hub? That's the code for Surface Hub. And then, finally, we can then apply a different document mode based on the device type. Okay? So we've worked through this live on a website. You can tell this is not going to be scalable for you. But if you've only got 1 or 2 intranet sites that you've developed, and that's all you need to update, look at this one. You're not rewriting the code. You're just almost putting a shim. You know what I mean by a shim? We're almost like fudging the code. We're telling it to run in this document mode. It's like a compatibility mode, and it works nice. All right. This site list I mentioned before is really an XML file. And we've built a small GUI tool where you can manually add new websites in there. And when you click export, exports it into an XML file. You then share that within your organization on a shared drive, for example, or a network share, and your browsers on desktops or devices or tablets will then go to that XML file and pull it. All right, and if it needs to render, it'll render based on the XML file. All right, so we're actually on the version 2 of this schema. It's a lot more resilient. It's more shareable. Multiple people can use it at the same time, but it's not really huge enterprise scale, is it? You're not going to have 10,000 people accessing one XML file. So bear that in mind. You might need to go to the next level. Right? But this works nice. It's good. Ed's going to show us, I think you're going to drop in and show us some registry keys and how to set this up, because you can do it using, you can hard code it into the registry to enable this, or you can do it using group policy. But I thought for the slides, we'll let you have the group policy that you might want to see in case you want to drop back in and have a look at later. So they're the policies. I'm not going to explain each one of these. They're fairly self-explanatory once you know where they are. Isn't that always the case with group policy? All right. Ed, are you good?
Not done about that. Right.
So I'm going to head over to Ed. He's going to demonstrate all of what I've just said.
There's a role in every presentation team called Demo Dolly, but I'm the demo dude.
Shall I push your buttons for you?
Not yet. The demo dude is not allowed to touch any of that stuff over there because he gets it wrong. He's only allowed his own device because he's prepared it, and we live or die by what happens in the next 20 minutes. The caveat is it worked an hour ago. Let's keep going. Okay, you can now press number 8, please.
My job here is done.
Who has an application written, a web app, line of business, whatever, that will not run in Edge? Okay, that you cannot do without. Excellent. I'll show you the demo setup. It's very simple, and it's so simple that all I did was download the web app application lab demo that is available to everybody online, and I wanted to do that to show that you can actually do this and practice and test this in your own time. I have 2 virtual machines. You download the virtual machines, you set up a virtual switch. I know you can do that, so I'm not demonstrating that, and I have a Windows 10 and a Windows 7 virtual machine. I'm going to show you the old way first in Windows 7 using IE. Without enterprise mode, I'm going to enable enterprise mode. I'm going to enable the enterprise site list manager, show you how it works, show you how you set it all up. I'm then going to switch over to Windows 10 where I've already done that, because doing it twice is pretty pointless, and show you the new functionality and how it actually works and how we get it done. Okay, so that's the plan. Let's go with the plan. So, first thing we want to look at is a broken app. Well, the app's not broken, but it won't run in the browser we're choosing to use. So I've got Internet Explorer here, and I'm going to choose a new tab up there. And I go to my purchase order application, which is on this is all local host. I haven't got an external web server, so it's just a local host called PO. And you can see in the top left corner, I've got a bunch of buttons that should not be there. This is rendering badly. This has worked for 10 years. It's brilliant. It does everything we want it to do. We don't want to invest any money in developing it. We just want the damn thing to work. We've all been there. So let us have a look inside the F12 developer tools. I love doing this. There is nobody more IT pro than me in Less Dev, and I click F12 developer tools, and I'm there, I'm a developer. I need to go to the emulation. And here we can see document mode. Document mode says Edge. I say, what? This is Windows 7. Why does it say Edge? The team that built this solution many, many years before Edge was a thing. And Edge just means it's the front edge of what they were developing at that time. So this is not Microsoft Edge. This is the Edge. It's the default mode. It's the latest you can possibly have. And what is document mode? Document mode is the mode that the browser is going to try and render. That's all it is. We also have the user agent string. And the user agent string is what is reported to the web app at the other end for what is expected. And when the user agent string is more than the web app wants, it isn't going to render ever in any browser because it's just plain wrong. These can be scaled up and down from 10.9.875 here, and we're currently running, I think it's 7. Note there's lots of different browsers here. Let's get off those, don't we go those. We also have the browser profile. You saw on Andrew's slide, it had 3 options. It had Windows Phone and desktop. I now know this is broken and I need to enable enterprise mode, and enterprise mode isn't there. So I need to switch that on. And there's a number of ways we can do that. I'm just going to go into my next app, and I'm going to close it because it shouldn't do that just yet. And I'm going to go localhost. I'm going to pick travel. And this one actually says, somebody wrote this well, because they've written it here, you're doing this wrong, you're using a browser, I have no clue what you're doing, go away and use IE8. Sorry, I haven't got IE8. I'm broken, I need to do something. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm running an enterprise solution, and I'm not going to do this manually on every single device, I'm not going to change those, I need to enable enterprise mode for all of my users throughout my environment. What is the best way of managing an enterprise in an active domain environment? Even if you didn't write that group policy originally? Probably not. But group policy is the best, most secure way of a domain join, non-mobile, because a lot of people will now say domain group policy isn't necessarily the best way if you're mostly mobile, but this is a domain joined, fixed device, group policy is there, so we're going to use group policy. And we load group policy on a standard tool by just typing gp edit, which I've already done. And this is a computer thing we want to do, so we go into computer, right up at the top. We go into administrative templates because it's to do with Windows and it's to do with the browser. So we go to Windows components and we scroll down to Internet Explorer. Now Internet Explorer has a whole, I mean you can set everything in there and you don't really want to right now. So we scroll down in the enterprise area or in the Internet Explorer area and we're looking for let users turn on and use enterprise mode from the tools menu. In your enterprise, is this a good idea? I can't see any heads nodding. So for this demonstration, I'm going to do a bad thing and I'm going to enable that. The reason I'm going to enable that is because it will then set a registry setting that I want to show you. That's the only reason I'm enabling it in this way. So I click Enable. And I click OK. And I'm now going to take you to the registry. And I'm going to close it first, actually, just to make sure it comes back up. And I'm going to type regedit. except I can't type. You'll soon realize why I had everything open when I started. My typing is appalling. Reg edit, and open the browser. This is a local machine issue, so I'm going to HKLM, and I'm going to software, and I'm going to policies, and Microsoft, and Internet Explorer, and main. 10 minutes ago, IE wasn't even there. I'd set no IE policies at all, so it wasn't there. It is now there. I go to enterprise mode, and hey presto, there is now a key in there for enabled. Enterprise mode is enabled. Let's just check that. Let's close that travel site. Let's go back to localhost. Oops, and travel. And I'm going to scroll down and click enterprise mode. And now I have enterprise. When I click enterprise mode, I have an application that looks, first of all, it's letting me run it because it now thinks it's doing something else. And now the buttons, it's not the best design I've ever seen in the world. It's not one I particularly like. I cannot do websites, but I don't like this one. But it does a lot of good stuff. Notice document mode has gone from Edge to 5. This is an old website. And user agent string has now just stuck itself at default, which is cool. If I go back to purchase order, I can also see that I can scroll this thing up and down as I want, all the way down to, say, 5, and go down on user agent string to there, and I've got some buttons that have moved as well. It's such an old broken website that even if it's working, it doesn't necessarily look like it's a particularly good thing. But you can see that switching it on manually does work. So I've switched it on by group policy. So, the next stage. Is that a valuable thing to do? Yes. Can we do it better? Yes. We have a tool. We have a tool which Andrew showed you called the Enterprise Mode Site List Manager, another mouthful. That's downloadable. I have downloaded it for you on this device. So we run the Enterprise Mode Site List Manager. It's freely available on the download site. Just download it. It takes about 5 minutes to install. I didn't want to spend 5 minutes demoing that. And here we can say, okay, you can manually add individual sites to your site list, which then your group policy will look up and say, this is in the list, I'll do this with it. Let's try one, shall we? So we're going to add, and we're going to add HTTP, whack whack, localhost, PO. And I'm going to say it's going to be IE8 enterprise mode, and I'm going to open it in IE11. Notice, it gives me the opportunity for MS Edge, but Ed, this is Windows 7, we have no Edge. The app doesn't know that, the app just knows those are the options. All it does, it's a screen scrape front end for building XML. So it's the same app that installs on Windows 10, and you'll see that in Windows 10 a little later. So this is going to be IE11. And that's in there now. So every time now I open this, the browser will look for the XML file, and the browser will then open IE11 in that mode, the IE8 compatibility mode running on IE11. And this is the tool you use in Windows 10 to say when somebody loads this, load it in IE11, don't load it in Edge. And Edge will just open IE11, which you'll see shortly. However, none of my systems now know that I have enabled this site list. So I now need to go and tell them that. And again, we can do that in 2 ways. We can do that through group policy, or we can do it through the registry. And I'm going to open my group policy again, because I'm not playing with the registry, because I'm not that brave. And this time, luckily, it's the next one down. It's still in computer, it's still in templates, it's still in Windows, and it's still in IE. It is use this, or use the enterprise mode IE website list. I enable it, and I give it a location. And the location I'm going to give it, because I'm on a local machine, I'm going to stick it in inetpub/www root and give it call it sites.xml. I'm then going to save that file I just created, add another item to it, and save it to that location. So let's have a look. Could really do with a browse button here now. Do shout if I spell things wrong, please. Say again? I'm pointing it to a file, sites.xml.
There's no browse feature in the group policy. Yeah.
If I had a browse, it'd be great because I wouldn't type it wrong and it would just appear brilliantly. But
If you think about it, when you do some practice, it'll actually be a network location. So Ed's putting it locally to demonstrate it, but normally it'd be a back.
it is, but I've done it on the local one. Yeah. Okay, so that's now in there. Now, I haven't yet made this active. How do I do that? I've updated my group policy. You're all group policy admin experts, and it will take 90 minutes, give or take 30 minutes, to update my group policy unless GP update force. Unless you're on the server, new feature, right-click, force update. You can do that from the server itself. I'm not on the server, so I'm now going to run GP update. So I'm going to run a command window, and I'm going to run it as an administrator, which is a good idea. And I'm going to type GP update /force.
I always miss out the P.
GP update. Oh, GPU date. You didn't shout.
I did.
Did you? Sorry.
Right. I always miss out.
I can't even see the screen, let alone type on the screen. So I was getting all excited it was going to work then. There we go, that's better. GP update /force. Let that finish. So now my registry should have site list, and I have a location for my site list. The only thing I need to do now is add a new record to it which contains the travel, because I put PO in, save it as an XML file, and save it in the location I've just given it. What's the problem with saving to that location with a standard user account? Just testing you all, really. UAC will just get in the way. In Windows 7, you need to make it really easy and drop the UAC right down to what you would never do in real life. So I now need to go to my site list manager. I need to add a new one, and I need to add http://localhost/travel. Again, this needs to be enterprise mode and IE11. Click save, and now I want to file, save to XML, and I want to go to my C drive, inetpub, www.root, and type sites.xml, and click save. If I now go to that location, there's my XML. Schema to XML, it gives me the site, it gives me the compat mode. Top job, we're all ready. I would rather do that app 100 times than ever write any XML. So if you're XML gurus, that's great, fill your boots. If you're not, use that. So theoretically now, in this system, when I start up IE and I go to either of those locations, I've enabled enterprise mode, I've enabled site list management, so my group policy has told the registry where it's going to look for and the fact that enterprise mode is available. So I'm now going to be very brave, and I'm going to shut down my browser and close all of the tabs. So I'm going to shut that down. I don't need group policy anymore, and I don't need the command window, and I don't even need registry. So I'm going to start a new browsing session and maximize it. And I'm going to type http://localhost/PO. Which failed miserably. And I'm going to do http localhost/travel. Let me go back to my group policy. I sense a group policy. I didn't put the local location, did I? Thank you for that. No, I want GP edit. There we go. For the rest of you that might or might not have noticed that, in my first setting, which begins with let, so that's down here, that one, it's going to be C:, inet pub / www root / that's a Z / sites dot XML. If this fails, I have one I prepared earlier, which is really useful. Apply and OK, and then we need to do another GP update force. I can feel the tension.
The spelling's getting better.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mistakes are fine as long as you make the same mistake once. If you repeat the same mistake, that's called stupidity. Okay, so that's done. Okay. We also have, while that's chilling its boots, we also have, on my Windows 10 device, some features that you may or may not know about. Anybody ever used about compat? Anybody seen that before? Some hands? 2 or 3. This is really cool. This uses 2 different compatibility lists. This uses Microsoft's compatibility list, which are websites that people absolutely know and have asked Microsoft to put it in their compatibility list. And it also uses your compatibility list. There are 1,595 well-known websites that are not compatible, that have some compatibility settings required. So if I take off the Microsoft compatibility list, you can see I've got localhost PO and localhost travel. So you can tell if things aren't working properly, your first troubleshooting point is it in the list I'm using? If it isn't, go to your browser settings, clear your cookies and web data, bang, it will reload the compatibility list and the new settings will be in there. So if it's not working, that's how you do that. There's also another about, which is very devy. Anybody know the other one? About flags, which only works on Windows 10 and on Edge. This is really cool stuff, which you absolutely want to disable in group policy right at the beginning, very, very early on, because it allows you to set things like which compatibility list to use, so you can get round using the compatibility list. It allows you to use Adobe Flash Player. Ooh, we don't want to do that. It allows you to do all sorts of stuff, and there's lots of experimental features, which immediately you're all administrator, we're not using any experimental features. So that's a good one as well. Disable about flags. You might want to disable about compat for anybody but administrators as well. So that's that one. So here we have an Edge system, which I'm just going to take out of full view because I can't quite see the tabs I need to see. There we go. Okay. Right. So I'm now going to type localhost /PO. What do you think should happen? This is the same list with the same settings. What were my settings for PO? They were IE8 compatibility, open in IE11. So if this works, it should now open IE11 with the correct website. Thank the Lord. It's opened the correct website, and it's now IE11, and it's the correct settings for PO. If up here, in fact, if I drag that down a little bit, up here, I have a new tab option. And I'm just going to click New Tab, and watch carefully what happens. I get a new tab in Edge. It minimizes IE and says, you don't want to do that. Until I know it's a compatibility issue, you want to use Edge. So it gives me Edge. I now put into Edge localhost /travel. Run that. I get Internet Explorer, and I get my, I'd love to say properly formatted web page, but it's as good as it's ever going to be because that's how it was written, running in IE11. Open a new tab, and it takes me right out back into Edge. I'm just going to dive back into the 7 just to see if I can get that thing working, because I don't like not finishing it off completely. So the very last step I've got for you is going back into this one, having run GP update, and I type localhost, and if it doesn't work, I will give up, PO. Let's have a look at, let's troubleshoot it actually, let's troubleshoot it, F12. It's not in enterprise mode. It's not forced enterprise mode. Because I didn't force it. I let the user set it. That's why it wasn't working. That's a demo error. I apologize for that. So now when I type it, and I'll go to the that was PO, wasn't it? I'll go to travel, localhost, travel. That's not enterprise mode, that's wrong.
You still got to let GP enable still, that's why.
No, that's fine. That's no problem at all. I've done it once.
Yep.
There you go. So because I've only enabled letting the user set it and I haven't forced enterprise mode, I've used the enterprise list, but it hasn't pulled it through. Interesting. Try that once more. Yo. It should be 69. So I thought I'd left it ages and ages, hadn't I?
65 seconds. Yeah.
65. Yeah, I thought I'd left it ages. Oh well. That's why I went to Windows 10. Anyway, you see the theory. So it will update that site list every 65 seconds. And you have your 10 minutes left.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 5.
Yes, please. We could, I think. Just 1 second. So let's just finish this off now. We're looking at, we've seen the demo, thanks very much, Ed, and we've seen what we can do at a medium-sized scale, you know, where we've got maybe 50 to 100 websites, we can populate that enterprise site list, and life is good. You know, how does that scale? So this is like, this is not going to be for everybody, but this is, how do we scale it up to tens of thousands? So just before I get into that, I just want to go into, you know, how is Windows Edge going to be updated from now on? Okay, it's going to be updated on a regular cadence with Windows 10. Adnan pointed this out right at the beginning. So we're going to see the Creators Fall update later this month. Okay, you're going to see new features. So keep a look at that. You'll see some of those features already using the Insider build, and we'll give you the Insider link for those who are not on that program at the end. I mentioned earlier on that Internet Explorer 11 is now in this maintenance mode. So you're not going to get any more new features in there, so don't expect them. It's purely an engine for backward compatibility, and that's the default. You know, we even got rid of the IE8 that used to come with Vista. That's no longer supported, so you shouldn't be using that. You know, you might have seen a theme throughout Ignite this week that whenever you've got a good idea or you'd like something, Microsoft is starting to listen more and more. Give that feedback. You know, they are putting features that you want. You know, some of the features like being able to synchronize favorites between Edge and Internet Explorer. You know, we didn't have that 6 months ago. We need your feedback on what you want, what you need, and why you're not using Edge as much as Microsoft would love you to. You know, it's there, it's easy supportable, it's all within one package. All right. Let's just move on. So you've seen Enterprise Site List Manager. It works, it's reliable, it's resilient. It's not really scalable beyond, you know, a few hundred sites, because only one person can access it at any one point in time. Okay, there's no real versioning control there, so just be a little bit mindful of that. Okay, it's designed for single use or one person at a time. You know, and an administrator to keep it maintained. It's on a shared location. You know, and it was the first attempt at making this work. Okay. It works nicely in business-sized enterprises, you know, so up to 300 users, 1,000 websites should be good. But once you get into that enterprise scale, then we're going to talk about the next level up. Okay, and that is this enterprise site list portal. This is where you start empowering your users to say, look, what about this website? Or what about this website? I need to use it. You can either take that choice away from them and just collate all the information that you need. It's a good idea to tell your users that you're doing that hey, for the next week we're going to be collating all your enterprise web activity and traffic, the websites that you go to. Tell them that. Don't just spy on them and collate information. Let them know. But obviously say to them, business as usual, carry on surfing as normal. But we're going to collect that information to make your experience better. Alternatively, set up this site portal so that they can then enter key websites that they might only use once a month and might fall out of that collection period. Okay? This will then give you a complete end-to-end approval process where you can then check it in, say, yeah, that's a valid website we want on our list, and then we'll roll it out. Okay? This works really, really well. I know the team were very excited when this launched in April this year. We've got some links at the end for the blogs and things where you can actually read more about this. It's really nice. So this is a real screenshot of this in operation. This is no longer a mock-up, whereas you might have seen this certainly at night last year where we mocked it up for you. This is now, this is a live website. So all the code is in GitHub. What does that mean? It's open source. So you can now customize this for your own needs if you want. If you want to brand this, you can. To create a branch and say, look, that's ours. If you want to improve it, you can. And just feed that back to Microsoft if you want as well. So this is an open source project that the guys in the Edge team came up with to say, how do we scale this? And they've put it into GitHub. Right? So when I say it wasn't a developer session, that bit's development. Okay? You need to be able to know how to pull that in and use that. But it's a really small, compact tool. You just install it, and it launches that code for you. So, going forward, this is a mindset change that we need to bear in mind. We need to start thinking, whenever anybody uses the web from now on, we need to be safe, we need to be secure. We need to use modern web browsing tools, techniques, and not rely on old code anymore. So if you need to use old code, use IE11 because that has the security checks and balances in there to make it compatible so you can see it. If you start using old code with Edge, it just will not work. It will not render, and you'll end up with a suboptimal performance. Okay? Use the tools that we've shown you to render correctly using Enterprise Site List, and if you've got OMS, use that self-service portal where you can do this at scale and actually collect all that information. And you're still using the same technology. In effect, what you're saying is whenever your Windows machine sees a web page, it needs to know what does it render in. Does it render in 11 or does it render in Edge? And it does it really nice. And you saw in this demo how seamless it was. Whether Ed launched a new tab or you didn't see him type it. If he typed in a URL into an existing tab, it would still force the launch automatically of Edge, which is really nice. Okay. So there's a couple of online resources there for you that you can use. We're going to be around for 10, 15 minutes if you'd like to answer any questions or have a chat about this. Certainly go to the Edge blog. That's where they're letting you know that they're good news, because they're really excited by this. They want you to be using Edge. And yeah, sure, yeah, they know it's a work in progress, they're getting better and better, but they didn't want to give you a finished product on day one and then leave nothing open for you to say, oh, can you add this feature? Yeah? They didn't want to give you a hugely complex tool set, like you have with IE11, with how many group policies? It's like 1,100. That's a huge amount. They wanted to give you a simple, fast, fluid browser that worked really, really fast. And then you then say, but we want favorite synchronization. We want these 10 features. We can live with everything else. We want those 10. And that's what we're starting to see coming through now. So look at some of these resources. Look at the blog. Implement site list discovery. Implement site list manager. It really works nice. And give us your feedback. Okay. If you're an IT pro, which I'm sure we all are, get on at least one of you within your team be on the insider feed, on the build, so you can see what's coming down the line and educate everybody else around that. You don't need all to be on there, but certainly have one virtual machine or one device on that on that program so you can see what's coming down the line. And keep yourself up to date. You know, it's a learning curve on a regular basis, especially with Edge. It's always changing on a regular basis. So with that, I'm finished. Thanks, Ed, for our demos and admin for our new features, and we will catch up with you soon. Please leave some feedback using your app, and feel free to come forward with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.